Martin, thank you for the time for the interview now, and first of all, congratulations to your new board position as president of Horatio,
Thank you
and
very
also
much.
in the name of the German Association for Psychiatric Nursing. And Martin, what do you think? What will be the main tasks for Horatio in the next 5 years?
I think that the primary task, of course, is to continue the work of previous boards, and that means that we have to raise the profile of psychiatric nursing within Europe and beyond those borders as well. So we have to make sure that people are aware who Horatio is, because the fundamental role of Horatio is to represent those nurses who work with people with mental health challenges. And there are approximately 360,000 of those in Europe. So we have a big task. But I think the primary role is probably to make sure that organisations like the EU, WHO and some of the funding bodies are aware of Horatio, because our main task is to represent psych nursing, mental health nursing in any sphere that we can find where there should be representation for us. Up until 2005, there was no mental health nursing representation in any pan-European board, in any pan-European organisation. So EFN, WHO, EU had nobody to go to. And they sought advice when they thought about it. But now we're pushing them to make sure that they think of us first, not last. So I think that's the primary role. I think the secondary role is for us to develop a thematic way of working so that we are more able to focus on individual components, individual issues. And so we need feedback from the national organisations about what they think we should be doing. But I think we have a very exciting new board, and I'm really excited about the possibility of them being creative and coming up with new ideas and new ways of working. So I think next 5 years really challenging, but hugely exciting.
Wednesday, in your keynote speak, you spoke about leadership and creativity. Why is leadership so important for creativity in mental health work?
I think leadership as a concept is so important, because without leadership, we have plenty of managers. Some of them are not worth the money that they're paid, and some of them have really no idea about what it is that they're supposed to be managing. And because they're not trained for it, they don't have a background in it, etc. And there's a huge difference between a manager and a leader. A manager is there to maintain the status quo. A leader is there to challenge it. And we will get nowhere if we don't have leaders who are prepared to stand up and say, but there's an alternative way, there's a better way, there's another way. And that doesn't just come from the literature, it doesn't just come from research, that's a part of it. What it comes from is...
Do you think a leader must be a manager?
No, in fact, you can be a manager and a leader, but invariably leaders are not people who are appointed. Leaders are people who come to the surface because their colleagues recognize they have different capabilities, different experiences. As Steve Jobs said, they have different dots. They have more dots, more experience. And because they have more dots, they're able to think of more alternative options. And we need leaders in mental health nursing, because without leadership, we're headless. So we're just running around in circles all the time. And managers are quite happy for that to happen, because then there's no disruption. The service just carries on ticking over nicely, but we get nowhere. And the workforce, the nursing practitioners, become demoralised, frustrated, because they're not in a position to expand and put their ideas into operation. And of course our patients will suffer. You know, the more creative we can be, the better the service we offer.
What are the three main aims for you in your presidentship?
Yes.
First, two.
Well, yes, because the first one is really to maintain and raise that profile of Horatio. The second one, I think, is to become more transparent to our membership, so that we're able to show what we're doing. Because Horatio, don't forget, all those individuals working in Horatio, the board and the 60 members of the expert panel, have jobs. So Horatio is almost like a hobby. It's a part-time post for many of us. And the most important thing, I think, is to show what it is, the vast amount of work that Horatio is doing on behalf of mental health and mental health nurses. and to give a sense of pride to people who are psych nurses, because they can say, well, look, this is what we're doing, these are the things we're involved in. We are important, and we're so important, in fact, that the EU and the WHO recognises this and uses us as advisors and so on. And I think the third thing is to expand the membership.
Okay.
The more people we can get involved, the better. And there are contingency plans for that, so hopefully that will improve as well.
Wonderful.